Got a hand went up real fast. And who told you that?
Society.
Society, parents. Okay. And what would happen to you if you bragged?
People wouldn't like you. You know it all. True.
You know it all. People wouldn't like you.
Conceited.
Sound like me.
Sound arrogant. Terrible, terrible things. Right? What happened to us. Nobody wants to be a bragger. At least those people that never come to me, the braggers do. They're like, they got their brand already going on. Nobody wants to be an obnoxious bragger. And here's the thing. If you don't speak up, you don't get the opportunity to step up. Well-behaved women seldom make history. Well-behaved women seldom make history, and I would add to that that women that don't speak up don't get opportunity.
True.
Okay. Interesting example. A friend of mine just got a new boss through a reorg. She works for a big corporation, and she's here on the West Coast. She has a new boss on the East Coast. And when she had the first opportunity to meet face-to-face with her new boss, this is the feedback that she got. You need to work on your personal brand. It's not a good thing that I had never heard of you when I found out you were going to be working for me. She wasn't looking for a job. She wasn't like starting a new business. She was just doing her thing. She still needs to speak up so that people know her. That's the world that we live in. Okay? So the problem is most of us are not going to get to where we want to go. In fact, where the world needs us to go to use our talents. By being the way our grandmothers told us to be. Or showed them the way my grandmother was. Okay? Has anybody here ever watched Shark Tank?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Shark Tank fans? Okay. So a fast pitch competition is like Shark Tank, only in front of an auditorium of 500 people. And they, the judges hold up signs to rate your pitch. Like, if anybody remembers the Olympics before they had electronic scoring, they used to hold up the cards, right? So you're on stage, all these people are looking at you, and then the judges hold cards about how you did. So these are usually presented by venture capitalists and usually for tech companies. A friend of mine is a business journalist, and she gets asked to judge these from time to time. And she bemoans the fact that women are not very involved in these. And she was telling me about a pitch competition. Well, first of all, there's like 10 men and 1 woman. So already, like, what is the problem there, right? And all the guys got up there, and they were going on about how you should invest in my company, and this is a great thing. And when it gets to their revenue projections, they've got the hockey stick. Right? We're going to work, and then we're going to, it's going to take off, right? It'll be the next Facebook or whatever. And then the woman gets up there, and she's talking about her business. And in 3 years, we estimate that we'll probably be cash flow positive. And it's a really great opportunity, and we hope that you'll really consider investing in our business. And how do you think she did? Right? Her feedback was, we don't want to invest in your company. These guys are exciting, you're not very exciting. And she said, oh, I was just trying to be realistic. Okay, and who knows, honestly, what these guys were selling, right? I mean, right? So here's the thing. I am not suggesting that you blow smoke. Okay? That is not what I'm here to tell you to do. I am not. In fact, I'm telling you the opposite. We need women in leadership positions. We need you, because you're not blowing smoke, because you're not making stuff up, because you are doing your due diligence. You're not making rash decisions, despite what we might hear otherwise. In fact, you're even more ethical. There has even been research done that putting men and women in business situations, that women make more ethical decisions. I'm going to do a quick commercial. Next Friday, in Los Angeles is an event, 2020 Women on Boards. We want to get 20% of corporate boards, all women, by 2020. And if you want to learn about corporate boards, or you know somebody who you think should be on a corporate board, have them check that out. We need women on boards making ethical decisions about our companies, okay? So we need you, but you've got to speak up in order to get you where we need you to be. We're going to play a little numbers game this morning. I'm going to give you some numbers and you're going to tell me what they are. This is a percent, 45%. I'll get you started. This is the percent of qualifications a man has to have before he's ready to speak up. Before he's ready to raise his hand and say, yeah, I'll do that. You know what this number is?
Or is it a job application?
Or a job application, not necessarily a job application, it could be an assignment, important assignment. Who wants to take on this project, right? You know what this number is, 90%? This is the percent of qualifications that we feel we need to have before we are ready to step up and raise our hand.
So it's self-imposed.
This is self-imposed.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So what is 90 divided by 2? We are half as likely. And guys in the audience, I love you, guys back there, helping us out. Take this back to your sisters and your wives and your girlfriends. Because we need them too. We're half as likely to raise our hands for a stretch project that will get you to the executive team, that will get you to the next level. We need you to raise your hand. We need women like you in positions of higher authority. Now at Bluefeet, what we do, my company is Bluefeet. Whoops. What we do is make you more interesting. And in the process, you become more authentic. Okay? We call it executive branding. You can call it personal branding. I'm not a huge fan of the personal branding word because people then want to talk about Facebook and whether they should be on Facebook. And you know, there's a place for that. But before we get to that, way before we get to that, we got to talk about you. Okay? We move beyond job titles, beyond resumes, beyond what someone thinks you do. Because people have a lot of ideas what they think you do. Into what you really have to offer. Into why you are the one. And what I find in this work is that people take for granted what they do. They do not realize that what they do is extraordinary or special. I can't even tell you how many times I have heard someone say, well, that's just what I do. I'll hear something amazing, I'm like, does anyone else do that? I don't think so. Or does anyone do it like that? I never thought about that. Or this is my favorite one. Well, I have won awards for that. Like, should we put that on your resume? Perhaps we should put that on your resume. Yeah, I guess so. It's amazing to me. So we give people the content and the confidence in order to speak up. Now, introverts might be saying, speaking up is not authentic to me. Do we have some introverts in the audience here?
Actually, by nature.
Only,
By nature.
only a few self-proclaimed introverts. Oh, you're an ambivert. I'm an ambivert. You're an ambivert. That's what I am. I'm an ambivert.
What is that?
You're right on the line.
I
Yeah.
call myself a situational extrovert.
Yeah. So for you introverts, if you haven't read Quiet, I've got lots of recommendations. Quiet. The power of introverts in a world that won't stop talking.
Right.
It's an awesome book. She's a great TED Talk too. So for you introverts, speaking up, not your thing necessarily, right? Do not confuse speaking up with talking a lot. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. I'm working with a very senior executive right now at one of the world's largest companies, literally. And she is on the executive leadership team, and she says this is one thing she really wants to communicate to women in leadership who are wanting to of leadership is you don't need to talk so much.
Mm.
You need to have your message, you need to go in, you need to say it, and you need to shut up. Not be justifying, and and well, but you know what it might be, and we think in 3 years we might possibly become cash flow positive. Just like, we're gonna make a profit at some point, okay? So don't confuse speaking up with talking all the time. There is an amazing power in someone who actually doesn't speak a lot, but when they do, we've met these people, we've heard them. Everybody listens, right? So carefully placed words can go a long way, but if you are going to step into your power and you are going to be in any kind of position of leadership, whether that is your own business, and that might be a micro business, or it might end up being a huge business like the one that you were talking about that you worked for, either way, at some point you're going to have to say something, okay? And you're going to have to say something about yourself. And that's the hard part. Somewhere between bragging and modesty is a beautiful place that gets you where you need to go. Maybe it helps you achieve your agenda, that gets your initiatives done, that gets you on a task force or a committee to give you more visibility, that helps you connect with your team of employees or colleagues so that you can take on a new leadership position, maybe gets you on a board. Somewhere between bragging and modesty is that beautiful place that answers the question, why you? Why should I trust you? Why should I follow you? Why should I do business with you? I should have made a bigger handout. I see some people are writing a lot. Who can name a product that they love? Product or service that you love?
Tom's shoes.
Tom's shoes. Would you pay more for that?
I do.
You pay more for that? Do you go out of your way for that?
I do.
Okay. Who else?
iPad.
iPad? Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mac.
Yeah, Mac period.
Mac period.
Mac period.
YouTube.
And we pay more for that?
Hell yeah. Yes.
And sometimes we go out of our way.
Yes.
I personally just find it fun to go to the Apple store, I have to say. I take my dog in there, she loves it, we hang out. I love the experience of it, it's fun. It's cool.
I love Amazon.
Amazon?
Ooh.
Me too. As a book publisher on Amazon and as a consumer.
Yeah. And you don't necessarily have to pay more for that.
I pay less.
You pay less in that case, right?
But you're consuming more. Right.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right.
You're getting more for what you're spending.
I like Mr. Prince.
Vistaprint? It's good for entrepreneurs. It's good for, yeah. Vistaprint is very, very good for business, yeah.
I like to hang out in Office Max or Office Depot
Oh.
because they all have these like inner ears, and like you, from the time you talk to one person to the next, they've already gotten you taken care of.
Yeah, right.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I learned a number of years ago that on Friday afternoons are the busiest time at the office supply store. Has anyone else noticed that? I think it's because I would go on Friday afternoons and feel like I was doing some work. I'm like, oh, I need some you know, so I was still kind of working, and I was going and looking at colored paper clips. Right? Does anyone else do that? Because I found a lot of people in the parking lot there on Friday afternoons. It's like, what is going on? Because they're all doing the same thing.
I think a lot of times it's procrastinator to say it's the end of the week.
Right?
Oh, I need to get this done. I go there, get my supplies, get my copies, whatever. Do it.
I just goof it
Yeah.
off myself personally. Now, who has loyalty to generic products? You know, nobody really responded to that. So, I mean, we like the price, right? And if you're ever on a tight budget, of course, absolutely, we love generics. But we don't pay more for them, and we don't go out of our way. We don't sing songs about them. Like Trader Joe's pointed that out. There's a song. There's like a Trader Joe's fan song that somebody posted online. Right? Okay? So we love generics, but, you know, companies spend a lot of time and a lot of money building that relationship with you, that brand, so that you will go out of your way and you will pay more. This is is what branding is about. It works for people too. You build a relationship, we know more about what makes you extraordinary, you connect with that, you can command a higher price. Just like big brands do. How would you like to be the coach bag of your industry?
I'll take that.
Right?
Product.
I'll have it.
Okay. But we get stuck in the what, right? Not why, but what. When someone says, what do? You say, I'm a banker, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor. You might as well say I'm a can of peas, I'm a bar soap, I'm a box of cereal. You just said I'm a commodity, right? And that's how we introduce ourselves. That's what we say when people ask us these things. This is one of my favorite elevator pitches of all time. I do strategy for a Fortune 500 company. How many people do you... First of all, I don't even know what that means. Right? and I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be impressed or if she really didn't want anyone to know. Honestly, I really mean that. It was a social situation, so was she trying to be ambiguous? I really don't know. And how many people do strategy for a Fortune 500 company? I'm thinking there's at least 500. Maybe 5,000. I think there's a lot, right? So, do we have any lawyers here today? No lawyers here today. Usually there's always some lawyers. Well, I'm gonna pick up lawyers today. This is the number of lawyers in the county of Los Angeles. Maybe that's why when I speak in LA, there's always a lawyer in there. There's 53,000 of them. Okay? And so you might say, well, I'm not just a lawyer, I'm a patent lawyer. Okay, well, that's awesome. So at least I have some idea whether or not I need your services. There's only 547 of you, so that's a little bit better, but I'm still, that's pretty much still in the commodity category. So what we're always looking for is what can you say that nobody else can say? You want that. We all want that. And there is something. I mean, shoot, you can market water for God's sakes. People pay more for Fiji water, which does taste good actually. But there's other brands of water that, right? So there's always something. What can you say that nobody else can say? So my favorite answer to why you is that I can't not do this. It's like, I've got to do this. It is in my DNA, okay? I was inspired to start doing these exercises by a friend of mine who's a lawyer, okay? He was telling me about when he was a kid, like a teenager, and the guys got busted for doing something they weren't supposed to do, and and he would be like, okay, shut up! I'll take care of this. I will talk to the adults and handle the situation. I'll get us out of here. Okay? And I said, how funny, you ended up being a lawyer. And I still remember the look on his face. He'd been a lawyer for like 30 years or more. It had never occurred to him he had always been a lawyer. Always his whole life. And I've had other lawyers in my workshop where she said, oh yeah, my family says, oh yeah, at the dinner table you were always arguing the other point of view. You always were taking the other side. There are things that are in our DNA, and this is one of the most fascinating parts of what I do. It's so much fun. Things that are in our DNA that say we can't not do this. I worked with a woman who's a professional organizer, and this was her third career. And she felt, for whatever reason, insecure about the question, how many years have you been doing this? I guess that came up a lot. She'd been doing it for 5 years, but for some reason, that was a concern of hers, the answer to that question. And we came up with a better answer. All my life. When she was a little girl, she would say, Mom, can I organize closets this weekend? Which I admit, she admits is a little strange. And was also her way of controlling her very chaotic environment, admittedly. But it built that muscle in her that was already in her DNA. And she says that is what made her successful in her other 2 careers, was because she had such strong organizational skills. And eventually she's like, what, I just want to do this. This is really fun. That's a much better answer. And not every organizer is going to say, well, actually, I've been doing this all my life, and I'd love to help you. Right? So, years that you lived before you formally started your career? Right? I personally went to college without having any idea what I was going to do, but some people started their career around this time and picked a university and a major, and so somewhere around this time frame we started to pick our career. I want to go back before that, because usually when we're talking about our gifts and what we have to offer, whether it's in a business situation, whether you're an entrepreneur, or whether you're trying to get a job or another position in your organization, you start maybe around 18. You start with your college degree, unless you had some extraordinary experience before that. That's when we like life starts then, but it doesn't. It starts when you're born. So what I want you to do now is look at your worksheet, and I want you to write down just whatever comes into mind, your earliest memory of doing what you do. And that could be managing people, that could be giving massages, that could be public speaking, it could be teaching, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be your job title, it's just doing what you do, your earliest memory of what you do. Who can give me an example of someone they know who loves their work? Like it could be someone you do business with, a merchant, somebody you work with, who loves their work, clearly.
Yourself.
Yourself. Absolutely. Okay. You love your work. And we're doing
my
our
work,
best.
and I reinvented myself as a second career, and I'm a financial advisor and money manager focusing on women. I love it. I'm passionate about it. I wasn't passionate about what I was doing previously.
Yeah. Exactly. Nothing sounds like passion. Nothing. I was in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania this week. I didn't have any passionate people there. You know, the Starbucks guy at the airport was not passionate. Everyone seemed to just be, you know, I mean, I asked a question at the hotel, and everyone, you know, I was just like, wow.
It was cold.
It was beautiful, actually. It was 65 degrees. It was really interesting. But I've had experiences. There's a place I get my nails done, and there's a woman there who I feel like I'm hugged when I go. She doesn't literally hug me, but I feel like I'm hugged when I go there. And one day she wasn't there, and someone else took care of me, and she was saying all the right words, and I just didn't feel it though. And she may have just been tired or whatever, but I mean, there's just a difference, and we experience it. And nothing sells like passion. And here's the best thing about it. It's so easy. Sometimes for whatever reason we don't want to be authentic, we feel like maybe we need to dial it down, it's too formal of a situation, whatever it is. And it's not hard to remember. You don't have to memorize anything. You know, it can be the elevator pitch of the moment. So, what do you do? Wow, I have this great, I'm just going to make an example for you. Yesterday I met with this new client, and I'm so excited about that. I'm a financial advisor, and this person thought, you know, life was over, and now we're pulling together, and she didn't realize how many options she had. And I just love seeing this happen.
Great answer.
How's that for an elevator pitch?
Yeah.
Let's memorize anything. We know it's shit, and we feel it. We feel it. It can be literally in the elevator, literally.
How do you get in touch with your passion if everything seems to, like, I do work that I like, you know, but I'm not sure that there's a, you know, flame erupting, you know what I'm saying? So it would come across just like this, very mundane. So, you know, I'm not in a horrible job, but you know, passionate, like I don't sound like Lori.
Yeah.
In other words, so how do you reignite that? How do you get in touch with, because what I think is that I fulfilled my purpose in this particular role. So how do I find what that new flame is? What is that new, you know, what's that new thing?
Right. Well, I can tell you what happened for me. I don't know if this will help you, but I think you need to be vulnerable and put things out in the world that you have in your heart that maybe seem scary. This conference, this is happening, right? And that was a dream.
Right.
This is happening.
Right? This is happening. Right? I had this idea. I have been in PR marketing for years and years, and I had this idea that I can help people. Same skills, same tools and all that, but working with people, and it would be really fun and fulfilling and helpful and all this. And I was at an industry networking event one day, and I was making an okay living, and I was doing whatever. But anyway, I was at this industry networking event, and I was talking to this recruiter I know, and I said, you know, and I had a glass of wine, so that helped. I said, you know, so I got this idea that I could, you know, take these tools and I could help individuals. And she said, that's really interesting. And the next morning I was writing my, you know, follow-up note, nice to meet you, nice to see you again, blah, blah, blah. And she said, send me some info. So I sent her, and I started looking through my stuff that I had written up, just my ideas, and I realized I had not been that excited about anything in a really long time. And that was when Bluefeet was born. So the glass of wine probably helped me be vulnerable and throw that idea out there. And then I was very blessed to work with really talented designers who create these beautiful things for me. And when I wanted to come up with a name, I had names like, I don't know, a lot of boring names, like, I don't know, your second act, well, I don't know, nothing that's good. And then, but I had been to the Galapagos, and I had seen the bluefeet boobies, these birds that have bluefeet really. And I had this idea for bluefeet, but it was scary. I mean, it was kind of a wacky name, you know, and love these guys, like, so I have these names, and here's this one, and they're like, yeah, Bluefeet, we're done, that's it. And they validated my creativity. So it helps to be around people who would do that for you as well. But I think you have to have a place to talk about what you might want to do in a safe environment, so that then you can feel how you feel about it.
Well, and Sharon, I would offer that, kind of back to my topic, it doesn't have to be an either or world. So right now people sometimes are afraid of giving up what they have, and maybe you don't give up the nice job that's going to take care of things, pay the bills for right now, but you start to nurture and cultivate whatever this other piece is, and at some point you can shift that and maybe all the way out. And that, so sometimes it's not as extreme as mine where you cut the cord and then you go for it, but you know, that kind of easing into this new thing can be another way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a path that I'm on right now, because I actually do have my own business. It's just that I find myself, and we talked about this last night, well, it's going after every bright, shiny object.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I can do that too. I've done that before, and I can do that too. So it's like settling on what is that thing that, you know, where do you find that point of clarity that is the now thing?
And that is the challenge of being a highly gifted person, is that there are many things you can do. And one of the things that I tell people actually it's going to come up in a minute, but you have more than one option of careers in your lifetime. And the younger you are, the more careers you're going to have. And so whatever decision you make now is not it's not for your life.
Right.
It is for this phase of your life. And we don't know, you may not know how long that phase of your life is going to be. But it's for now. And certainly, you know, maybe it's for a few years. It's not every couple of months that you want to be changing up everything. But it's not, it feels so permanent. It feels so permanent. But I can tell you, in doing this work with people, I see their evolution. Like, I don't know how I got here, I don't know how I got that. But I can figure out the thread. And people do not end up in these wacky, far-off places that they sometimes think they do. It's very rare in my experience. People, there is an evolution, a thread that goes through things.
Can I offer, going back to Janine's talk, that her points about core values, that if you look at everything you've done and everything you're good at, there's a through line, and it is one of your core values. So for me, it's love. So I offer love through speaking, through coaching, through singing, through whatever I'm doing in that moment. And so it doesn't have to be about, again, what you do. It's who you're showing up as and what that through line, that core value is. That's your passion.
Yeah.
You obviously like to do projects.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
don't know about that.
No. Well, you're good at it. You're good at it, and bringing great people together.
Yeah. There was something actually, I think it was on an Oprah episode where she talked about giving up something that you're really good at and going into the next thing is harder than giving up something you're not good at. Right? And it sounds silly, but it's hard. Because here's the thing. When you are highly competent, when you are at the top of your game, you're doing something you're really good at, when you switch to something else, even if it's something else that you're good at, there's still a learning curve. There's still an adjustment. You are not at the top of the heap anymore. And that's what she was talking about. To take that, like, okay, I'm going to do this a different way. I'm going to take another step. That's hard. And when you're used to being good and right at the top of the heap, and then you're like, okay, now I'm learning again, that's challenging. I've done it, I can tell you from experience. And I mean, the reward is totally worth it. But that is a challenging situation. So following what you're passionate about, you're going to be way happier, as we've heard from a lot of people. So I want you to take a few seconds and write down, what are you passionate about in your work? And is there a particular project or program or something you're working on now that you love? It is officially 12:19. Lunch officially starts at 12:15. If anybody would like to ask me some questions, I'm happy to hang out for a few minutes to chat.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for coming.